Cold outreach sucks, but it can work if you do it right. And for some of us, it's our only option, especially if you're just starting out and have no connections, no followers, and no online presence. Most of us don't have 12 months to wait to build a social following, and we don't have thousands of dollars to put into ads to try to reach new clients. So our only good option to find clients right now is cold outreach. So in this video, I'm going to teach you the 3 best cold outreach methods that you can utilize to find new clients. And by the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly what to do and what not to do. And also at the end of this video, if you stick around, I'm gonna share with you my 2 favorite cold email hacks that get my emails open more than any others. So cold outreach is when you reach out to somebody that isn't expecting to hear from you and they're not actively looking for whatever it is that you're offering them. Or in other words, you're contacting these people when they don't expect it at all. These are not leads from your website or leads from an ad or from social media. These are complete strangers that have no clue who you are. So by nature, these prospects that come from cold methods are going to be way more difficult to close. And no matter what you do or how good you are going to get told no and going to get rejected over and over and over again. So you can't try to avoid this, you have to expect it. Another important fact about cold outreach is it is way less effective than you contacting warm leads. And so in cases where you only need 3 warm leads to land a client, for cold outreach with cold leads, you might need hundreds and hundreds before you ever land a client. And so you're going to have to play that numbers game and reach out to enough people to where you can find those clients. Now, cold outreach doesn't just mean cold emailing or cold calling someone on a phone. It can also mean sliding into somebody's DM, sending them a private message on LinkedIn or Facebook. These are all fantastic ways to do cold outreach. All right, so now let's talk about the 3 cold outreach strategies that actually work and that you should start using today. Number 1 that we're gonna talk about is Loom outreach videos. Number 2 is personalized email outreach. And number 3 is going to be done on social media like Instagram, but it's called the do you know method. Now, as we get into these 3 strategies and explain to you how to use them, the one thing that we need to remember is none of them are going to work. In fact, no cold outreach will ever work unless you make the prospect feel like they need to reciprocate in some way. Or in other words, they should feel like, wow, Peyton put in a lot of effort to reach out to me. I feel like at the very least, I should give him a response. So that need for reciprocity is absolutely essential. And this is why generic cold emails and cold calls that are read from a script just never work, because people don't feel that need for reciprocity. All right, so strategy number 1, which is our Loom outreach videos. I actually made a video about this that I posted several years ago when I started using this outreach method, and it is so effective. But if you don't do it properly, it's going to be like all of the other strategies that you might have tried, and it just doesn't work, okay? So make sure that you follow this step by step. So a Loom outreach video is where you record your screen and you're actually going to walk through or give advice or feedback on some part of their business. So in my instance, I would do either a website audit or an audit of their Google Ads setup or of their SEO rankings, or maybe you're providing them feedback on their online reputation, or maybe they need help with their copywriting on their website and you're going to share with them a few updates or changes that they can make. And what you're going to do is you're going to record yourself walking through this on a screen recording with a tool like Loom. Now, these types of videos do take a lot of time to make. This isn't something that you can do at scale or automate. You actually need to do the research, film the video, and send it to the prospect. So while this method is much harder to scale, it's actually way more effective because people feel that reciprocity. When you send somebody an email and say, hey, I filmed this 5-minute video walking you through a few errors that I found on your website, I hope this helps, people really appreciate that. And even if they're not interested, even if they're annoyed that you emailed them, they're going to feel like, wow, that was really nice of them to take the time to record this video specifically for me. Now, the piece of this that so many people forget is it's not enough to just record and send a Loom video and then wait for something to happen. No, that is just the first part of this, because then what you're going to need to do is do a ton of follow-up. And the most effective way to do that is a cold call. Now, we call it a cold call, but really this isn't going to be your first interaction. The hope is that they've already watched the Loom video, and so when you call them, you already have a foot in the door. You can justify the reason that you're calling, and it's going to make your cold call much easier and less abrasive. So what I do is I send out these Loom videos. I'll usually send one email after the fact if they haven't watched the video. And then about 2 days after that, I'm going to give them a phone call and I'm going to say, hey, this is Peyton. You probably remember me from the video that I sent you a few days ago where I broke down a couple errors that I found on your website. And most of the time they're going to remember you, but if they didn't watch the video, they're going to say, oh, I have no clue what you're talking about. And you can say, oh, that's totally fine. I know you're busy, but if you go ahead and look in your email inbox, I actually filmed a video walking through your entire website. And just like that, they're going to be put off guard and they're not going to be able to turn you down or ignore what you're saying because they already feel like you've done something nice for them. Now, the Loom outreach strategy can really work for so many different types of businesses, primarily online businesses where you can record your screen and show them some important aspect of their business or something that can be improved. Now, in these videos, you don't want to tell them the things they're doing wrong or the mistakes they've made. You still want to be very complimentary of their business and just show them a few things that might help. All right, number 2 is a very general term, and that is cold emailing. But this isn't just any type of cold emailing. So many people do this wrong. So many people try to automate this process and send out hundreds of emails every day from a generic template and hope they get some sort of response. But like any type of cold outreach, if it's not personalized to that specific person, they're just not going to respond to it. There's no need to, and they don't ever feel that need to reciprocate because it feels like it came from a robot. So if you want to get these emails opened and read, you have to mention something personal, whether this is the location or a common interest or something that has happened within their business. If you don't mention something that lets them know that you actually wrote this message for them, it's not going to get a response. Now, another thing that you can do to make this not feel so rote and robotic is using a really good subject. So you don't want to say something basic like, hey there, and you don't want to say something really salesy like, get more leads for your business. Instead, make it specific and helpful. Things like, John, your website has a broken link, or have you seen this negative review from Sally? Or maybe somebody's wasting your ad budget, just a heads up, or even spelling error on this page with a link. All of these are very personalized and they're much more likely to get a response. All right, so now for the third strategy. This is the do you know strategy. This is something that I learned from Alex Hormozy, and he made a video about this not long ago that really opened my eyes, and so I started doing this. So what you're going to do is use one of your social media platforms. This can be Instagram, this can be Facebook, this can be TikTok, this can be LinkedIn. It really doesn't matter. And on so many of these channels, people are doing cold outreach, but 99.9% of the time, people are reaching out saying, hey, do you need my services? Hey, I can help you. Hey, buy my stuff. And it's really, really abrasive. And so what Alex Hormozy recommends you do is reaching out to people and asking if they know of anybody that could benefit from your services. Now, even if you only get one person to respond to this method, you instantly get access to all of their connections. And they're going to filter these out and tell you the people that are the best fit for what you're offering, which means that that client isn't actually going to be a cold lead for you. They're going to be a warm lead because they're being introduced by a friend. So we've talked about these 3 strategies, and each one of these works, but only if you do it over and over and over and over again. This is a numbers game. And so if you're only sending out 5 messages a day or 15 emails a day or doing 10 cold calls a day, that's simply not enough. You need to be doing this hundreds of times, thousands even, before you see good results. And this is why cold outreach is not the best method long term, but right now it's the most effective way for you to find those clients. Now, when it comes to all of these strategies, I would recommend overlapping them. So don't just stick to one strategy. So once you send a Loom video, send them a private DM that mentions that video. If you're going to send them an email, maybe mention a comment that you made on one of their posts in the past, or a private message that you just sent them on their socials. And make sure that you cold call after all of these strategies. The more touch points that you have, the higher your chances are of getting one of these cold prospects to want to speak with you and hire you. All right, so now that we've finished that, I want to finish up by sharing with you my 2 favorite hacks when it comes to cold emailing that gets my emails open more than any others. The first strategy is something that I noticed that a man named Dan Martell started to use. And what he would do is in his emails, make them all lowercase. And so basically, he would forget about punctuation. And something about these emails made them seem like they were very personalized, like you were shooting a text or a note to a friend. Anytime you see different emails that are all capitalized and have these proper titles, it just makes them feel like promotions. And so instead, what he does is use all lowercase, type in a quick message, and it's much more likely to get open. So all of my cold email outreach, I make sure that I use all lowercase and make it seem like a text to a friend. And the second hack is using the letters RE before your messages. This is something that happens when you send a reply in an email, but if you add these, it makes people think that that's a conversation that they've already had. Now, this isn't necessarily misleading because people don't open these emails with any sort of expectation, but something about that RE makes an email stand out. It makes it look like a thread, and people are going to open it to see what it is. So by using all lowercase and using RE at the start of your subject lines, you're going to get way more of your cold emails open and responded to. So if you enjoyed this video or got any ideas or insights into how you can be better at your cold outreach, it actually really helps out if you hit the like button down below this video. It lets me know that these are the types of videos that you like, and it also makes me feel good about all the effort and research that I put into these videos. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.